Welcome back to Pewdiepie. I'm Zui and I hope you enjoyed today's video. But before we get right into it, I'm obligated to remind you to click either the like or dislike button, commenting something down below, and of course sharing the video so more people can see and enjoy it. This is very important as it helps with the YouTube algorithm. I want you to know that your help is greatly appreciated. If you have any suggestions or ideas for a story, my Discord link is in my link tree that is down in the description, as well as my Patreon and Ko-fi for any donations you may want to send my way. Every cent counts. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's video. How the hell did this happen? Well, you knew how. You were a hopeless weep nerd trash. And so the other girls in your class didn't take you serious at all. The entire 2 years you had spent with them so far, you have been trying to not fall into this exact scenario. But no, even after a haircut, even after contact lenses, your geeky side just wouldn't let go. And the girls swarmed around that like vultures. Well, or at least that's how it felt. In reality, they had accepted you. In reality, they didn't even realize the anxiety they were giving you. To them, you were just you. To them, it was just natural fun. This fun was a game that started like any other high school game under friends. Some light-hearted playing that got serious the moment someone went a little too far. A game of bets in a group chat your classmate Jiro had suggested a challenge in. She had, at the time, elected Uraraka. It was simple. Play a water bucket prank on one of the boys. After the bet was made, incentives were thrown into the chat. Money, doing her homework, assisting her in training, stuff like that. Until the gains from the bet were adequate. So one night she set up a water bucket atop Minada's room. And when in the morning he left it for a nature call, it landed right on his head, dousing him in cold water. For this little prank, the entire class got attention except for Mineta. But after that, the games were on. Of course, little wallflower that you were, you didn't get anything juicy. In fact, what you were doing right now was your first bet. Sadly, this was around the time things got vicious, and the girls knew exactly how to get you to do things. Okay, new bet, Momo had typed. She then pointed at you. You haven't done anything yet. In fact, your incentives are also kinda lackluster. Are you trying not to get voted? Your blood froze when you read that. Here's your bet. Sneak into the boys' locker room after the next gym session and stay there until all the boys left without getting caught. You blushed hard. Immediately images of sweaty, perfectly toned abs floated inside your head. Your lips curled into a dumb smile, but then, "Sheesh, Momo, that's harsh," typed Uraraka. "If she gets caught, she's expelled for sure, ribbit, ribbit." To this day, no one knew why Tsuyu Asui's speech impediment was reflected in her writing as well. You really felt the pressure now. Plus, if you refused, someone else would definitely have to do this, and that would make you die of jealousy. Well, you typed quickly. Tell me what I get first. The first couple offers were relatively large sums of money. Considering you were still a high schooler, this was making you not feel it, really. I need something better, you typed. The chat got quiet. And then, Momo typed. I buy your new limited run of that Yaoi thing you're into. You mean the limited collector's edition of the Demon Butler's Naughty Master? I guess. The limited collector's edition of the Demon Butler's Naughty Master was a special metal case with the two hot guys on it, and inside, a huge book. as it was all chapters put into one, with new illustrations from the mangaka. With a bonus chapter that depicted the fun parts without any censorship. You just had to agree to this. This thing was expensive, and you could never afford it, especially during the limited run. And no, you were not going to buy it off of a scalper. Deal. And that's how you ended up, shivering and scared in an empty locker inside the boys' room. You didn't even know who it belonged to. Your face was flushed red, mouth grinning widely. If you got caught, you'd be called a pervert. You'd be expelled. Your heart raced. And then the boys came in. You gulped. Eyes twitched. The locker you were hiding in was right in front of Bakugou's and Kirishima's. The two guys were sweaty and breathing heavily. The musk of the locker room wafted into your nostrils. How could any girl resist this? Quickly they took off their sports uniforms. You could just barely suppress your excited scream as you slapped both hands on your mouth. You couldn't handle this. The pressure was getting into your head. You felt like you were about to pass out. And then, a shadow was covering the slits of the locker you were in. Your eyes wide in fear. "Ah, come on, Kak-chan!" You heard Izuku's voice as he opened the locker. Thankfully, his attention was behind him, and your legs quivered as he carelessly threw his sweaty training shirt at you, while blindly reaching for his clean school uniform. You could practically feel him about to turn around so he could quickly unhook it and gave it to him. Thankfully, he didn't notice and closed the locker door again. For a moment you stood there. You felt like you were about to pass out, from excitement and fear, as you slid down on the locker's back wall. You somehow did it. Your face was still covered in Izuku's sweaty shirt. This had been one of your dreams since middle school. Unintentionally, you took a deep drag from the smelly shirt, like a complete weirdo. And now you understood why Uraraka was completely infatuated with him. You actually were kinda glad you got to experience him like that before she did. Soon thereafter, you heard the door to the locker room open, and one by one everyone left. You sighed in relief. Slowly you climbed back up on your feet. Curiously, you looked through the small slits. You could see no one. And with an awkward smile, you slowly opened the locker door, peeking carefully outside. And that's when you saw it. Or rather, saw them. On a wooden changing room bench. 2 people. 2 guys. Quickly you ducked back into the cramped space. After another minute of silence, you once again looked outside. On the same bench, in each other's arms, were Kirishima and Bakugou. You squeaked, very quietly. Your heart felt like it was about to burst. That was scandalous. It didn't matter that it was their 3rd year and that they were 18. No one in their class outside of Uraraka seemed to be interested in romance, so this was juicy. Even better, this was exactly like in one of your mangas. You are right now in one of your yaois, and you couldn't handle it. "What the hell was that?" growled Bakugou suddenly. Oh no. Oh no. You tried to make yourself as small as possible against the back wall. You were so done. You heard a pair of footsteps approach, and then a shadow fell over you. Bakugou?" came Kirishima's voice suddenly. Katsuki shushed him. You could feel tears filling your eyes. You couldn't breathe. Your heart was pumping. "Come on, you're too careful. Besides, not like we're doing anything illegal." Bakugou was about to open the locker. His hand froze just above the opening handle. The blonde's eyes narrowed sharply. There was a very specific reason as to why he wanted to avoid any sign of coming out of the closet, as it was called. And despite his boyfriend's protests, he grabbed the handle and threw the door open. Your eyes met for a brief moment. His violent crimson eyes. Seconds later, you fell forward. Completely wiped out by the scenario. You unceremoniously slammed on the ground. Fuck, was all Kirishima could say. You opened your eyes only a few seconds later. You had passed out barely a minute. The two young men had set you up on a bench. Everyone was blushing, even Bakugou. You sat up feeling a bit dizzy, yet unable to speak. At least not until...
How much did you see?
Growled the explosive blonde. It's okay. You can tell us, said Kirishima. It's important so we know how to deal with this.
What the hell are you talking about, Eijiro?
Kirishima shuddered. You shouldn't shout at your boyfriend like that, he said, blushing even harder.
Don't you tell me how to talk to him. It's your fault we are in this situation to begin with.
You bit your lower lip. I mean, technically it's Momo's and the Demon Butler's Naughty Master Collections Edition. Limited Collector's Edition. Oh, I know that one. It's really good. Bakugou, we should totally read. Katsuki's eyes narrowed angrily and Kirishima lowered his head. Well, to tell you the truth, I saw you guys half naked making out like horny teenagers. While being all sweaty. You chuckled eventually. It was really hot. Right. And why were you in to begin with? I mean, I'd expect Mineta to pull a trick like this in the girls' room, but never you or anyone for that matter. You blushed harder, heart pounding once more.
What the hell has Ayoruzu to do with this?
She bet I wouldn't do this, and I got incentives, and I did it, and I'm sorry, you cried. Kirishima on the other end understood, and with a caring expression, he gently placed his hands on your shoulders. He looked deep into your eyes. It's okay. I'm not mad. Well, maybe disappointed. You heard Bakugou scoff. You like this yaoi stuff, right? You nodded. Okay, it's good. Let's talk about this like adults.
I don't see how this will help us.
Agreed. What are you getting at, Eijiro? I'm thinking she's the key to our problems. Do you know the anime How I Accidentally Fell in Love with My Childhood Friend? You nodded. It's a shoujo. In it, the main character pretends to be in love with this girl, because his parents would never be okay with him dating another guy. You nodded. It was really heartbreaking when Aoi-chan learned the truth of the relationship. Bakugou rolled his eyes.
Yes, you two are huge dorks, I get it. What the fuck is this about?
Kirishima chose to ignore Bakugou's bickering, and just said with a confident smile, Well, would you mind being Bakui's Aoi-chan? You and Bakugou both made a surprised gasp.
Wait, what?
Kirishima looked at Bakugou. Think about it. Think about it, Bakugou. You don't want to come out to your mom? And if we pretend you have a girlfriend, you can safely go on dates without anyone raising a stink. You furrowed your brows and looked at Bakugou. I'm sorry your mom doesn't understand. For a moment both boys were quiet before Bakugou burst out into loud laughter.
It's not that she doesn't understand. The problem is, she understands too much. The first time Ichiro was over at my place, she was gushing about how she's totally supportive.
Bakugou spit on the ground in disgust.
I'm not dealing with my mom knowing I like guys. It's annoying. It's
cringe. You finished the sentence.
Yeah, precisely.
So how is it? Said Kirishima. Would you like to date Bakugou so me and him can go on more deeper dates? You bit your lower lip. Think about it. You looked at the redhead. You could go on pretend dates with him. It's free food. You're hanging out with friends. I don't see where the problem is. Lips twitching, you spoke up. Can I watch you two make out? Immediately, Kirishima's supportive smirk was replaced with a neutral one. Excuse me? Innocently, you tipped your fingers together. I mean, this is my one and only chance to live my anime dreams,
And you're risking it by asking for stupid stuff like this.
Please? Kirishima looked at Bakugou.
I mean, what do you think? It's our best shot.
Bakugou scoffed.
You seriously want me to agree to this, huh?
Jokingly, the redhead began to imitate Katsuki's mother. Oh my god, I knew you were a fruity one. This is so going on my Insta hero. The other moms at my job will go crazy. Oh, and your dad. He's so going to gossip about this at work. Would it be cool for you if we hang up a couple of rainbow flags in our home? Bakugou blushed hard.
Ugh, disgusting. Fine. But if she makes us two kiss, as proof, I will throw up in her mouth.
Blushing, you simply replied with, I mean, that's fine with me. I'm looking forward to it. Slightly disgusted, the boys looked at each other. Biting your lower lip, you twirled your hair with your finger a bit. So, do you guys want to continue where you left off? I don't mind going back into the locker.